ಅಣೆಕಟ್ಟು ಸೇತುವೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಂಡವಾದ ಕಟ್ಟಡಗಳಿಗೆ ನೀಡುವ ಅದೇ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ದೃಢತೆಯನ್ನು ಮಹಾ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ನೀಡುತ್ತದೆ.
Yeah, that's a small jingle. Yeah. Very good evening. I welcome all engineers fraternity on today's webinar topic, a role of an engineer. A role of engineer on today's lockdown. So now I request our national head, Mr. More sir, to come on platform and approach. Speak few words. I request our national head, Mr. S.S. More sir.
Good evening, very good evening to all of you. A warm greetings on behalf of My Home Industries Limited, the manufacturers of MAHA Cement, and Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, Hubli, and ACCE India, Hubli Centre. So, to begin with, we have been witnessing an unprecedented situation due to a lockdown. Almost all industries are shut, and mostly construction activities have come to a standstill. Most of the engineers now in home, they are staying in home. In such a situation, we thought of organizing a knowledge sharing program through webinar. So first we approached Suresh sir, Chairman ACCI Hubli Centre, and SM Sirur, President ACC Hubli. So they have readily agreed to organize it and associate with us. And we approached Engineer B.S. Sudarshan sir, Stack MD Stack Consultant Bangalore, and he is very kind enough to agree and agree to share his knowledge, vast experience in his experience we will be witnessing today, and we will be hearing from him. So as all of you know, most of the civil engineering works need physical presence because civil engineering cannot be civil engineering works mostly cannot be done from home. But we thought with modern technology there are many avenues are available. A host of activities we can do it sitting in home. So that is why we today topic we have selected role of engineers during lockdown, especially civil engineers. I think our sir, Mr. Sudarshan sir, will with his vast experience and knowledge, he will actually throw a much light on the activities that we can do in home. So I am very happy that we are participating in this seminar. I welcome all the engineers who are participating to this webinar. Thanking you, sir.
Thank you.
Sachin, you can.
Yeah. It's a great honor to be here. So now I request our ACC chapter, Hubli chapter chairman, Kireshwar sir, to address few words.
Yes. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಈ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾ ಸಿಮೆಂಟಿನವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಜೊತೆಯಾಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆಗೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಸುದರ್ಶನ ಸರ್ಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಮೌರ್ಯ ಸರ್ಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು. ನಮ್ಮ ಎರಡೂ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸುತ್ತಾ, ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಸಚಿನ್ ಅವರು, ಸಾವಂತ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಕೋಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಸುಮಾರು 15 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಸಹಕಾರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು ಮಹಾ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯವರಿಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.
ಸರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ ಸಹಕಾರ ನಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲಾಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಅಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ ಪ್ಯಾರಲಲಿ. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು, ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಕು, ಸತತವಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾ ಬಯಸ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ನಾವು ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ACCE President Local Hubli, our Srinivas Shirur sir, to speak few words. Shirur sir. I think so there is some technical issue with the Shirur sir. So Shirur sir is on webcast now. So actually, so he is our Mr. SM Shirur, SM Shirur sir. So his network is slow. I'm able to see this. His network is too much slow. I'm not able to connected. He's not able to get connected. Maybe meanwhile, end of this session, we'll request Shirur sir to come on platform. So now I request our North Karnataka in charge, Mr. Umesh Deshmukh sir, to address this gathering on virtual platform and introduce our chief guest, Engineer Sudarshan BS sir. So now our North Karnataka Maha Cement in charge, Mr. DGM sir. So I request him to speak.
Yeah. Thank you, Sachin.
Yeah, sir.
Engineer Sarur sir, Chairman ACC Hubli. Engineer SM Shirur, President ACC Hubli. Engineer Sudarshan BS, today's speaker, and organizing committee of ACC Hubli. I thank the organizing committee chairman, president, and the eminent speaker for organizing this event. And on behalf of Maha Cement, we welcome you all for this webinar. We have had several opportunities of interacting with ACC directly, and during such times, as of course Engineer Sudarshan would be taking through during his lecture how things have to be done during a lockdown. These are different times when we need to have different ways of doing things. So that's the topic all about. On behalf of Maha Cement, I heartily welcome everybody for this webinar. I would like to introduce to all of you our today's eminent speaker, Engineer Sudarshan BS, to all of you. Engineer Sudarshan BS is a structural engineer, postgraduate from University Vishwesvaraya College of Engineering, Bangalore. He has been in the field of structural engineering for over 21 years, and his professional career started with Tata Consulting Engineers, Bangalore, as a design engineer, and is currently the managing director of Sudarshan Structural Retailers Private Limited, Stacks Consultants. He is a complete professional with solid and diverse experience in civil engineering, structural engineering in particular. He's been managing overall operations and optimizing organizational process. He has handled various project requirements. He has also applied innovative techniques to various problems. He has got excellent analytical skills. with a keen attention to each and every detail. He can analyze situation and research information to develop sound and ethical business solution. His core competencies: design and detailing, organizational leadership, operations management, project coordination, team management development, strategic planning, execution, interdepartmental collaboration, vendor relation, strategic communications, budget management. He has got a vast experience in design and detailing of structural steel, reinforced concrete, and engineered lumbar structures related to Indian, American, British standards. Various structures, design projects worked are related to structures in power plants, cement plants, rice mills, sugar industry, steel plants, oil and gas, metro, rail, material handling structures like conveyors, shuttles, silos, tall structures, roads and highways, residential buildings, commercial complexes, school, colleges, etc. He has worked on projects based in India, USA, Korea, Japan, Gulf, Indonesia, Thailand, Sudan, and UK. He is also visiting several engineering colleges, institutions, organizations, and is delivering lectures on various topics related to structural engineering. He has guided engineering students, both undergraduate and postgraduate, in their project works. He is also a life member of ICI, Indian Concrete Institute, and ACCE, Association of Consulting Civil Engineers. His other interests are thematic music, long driving, visit historical places, and sports. So I present to you, gentlemen, Sudarshan, Engineer Sudarshan BS, to carry on the session and enlighten us. Thank you.
Sir, a great welcome, sir. Thank you, sir, for your warm welcome. So now I request our chief guest as and speaker, Engineer Sudarshan, sir, to take a dais.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Umesh, for the kind introduction. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, perfect, sir.
Okay. Good evening, one and all. I thank Mr. Umesh for giving a nice introduction of me. And I also thank MAHA CEMENT ACCE Hubli for giving me an opportunity to talk on this subject today, the role of engineers during lockdown. When I mean by engineers, I'm talking only about engineers. Let us be very clear, because this is totally for Association of Consulting Civil Engineers. So I am focusing on civil engineers and not for any other engineers. Let me make it very clear. Before I begin my talk, I hope each and every one of you are safe and doing fine during lockdown time. I'm talking only about what should be the role of engineers during the lockdown period. So let us just think what it is and how do we go about it. Why are we locked down? We all know that it is only because of the pandemic disease COVID-19. And let me make it clear to you, it is not just an issue with India, it is a global issue. Even the developing countries like USA, UK, Europe, everybody is facing this issue. So, which means to say that we are not the only people who are facing this problem. It is a global issue. In fact, I can proudly say that India is doing really good when compared to other developed countries by trying to educate people regarding social distancing and educate people by providing masks, sanitizing their own hands, keep temperature, close your mouth or close one's mouth while coughing or sneezing, etc. In fact, I should really be proud that India is doing good when compared to any other countries. Of course, from the past 2-3 days, we are noticing that there is some slight relaxation in the lockdown. We are seeing that people are slowly coming out of their house arrest, and then they are trying to get back to their normal mode of working. But I'm not really very sure whether this will be successful, or whether we will be able to prevent further development of the disease, or this may lead to something disaster. I really don't know if the things grows, the disease number of cases grows. I really don't know if the government will again start putting people behind their home arrest, like locking down or whatever it is. I'm not really sure about what is going to happen, but whatever said and done, I feel that we have to make ourselves accustomed to working from home in near future, because we really do not know what is the future, whether more and more people may be working from home, or more and more people will be asked to work from home, etc. I really do not know. But before uh, understanding what we need to do when we are sitting at home, or what should we do when we are at the lockdown, let me just quickly run through different categories of civil engineers we do have today. It is very, very important for us to understand that civil engineers, we do have different kinds. I mean, we have got different categories of civil engineers. If I first talk about the first category, that is the experience level, I can definitely categorize the experience level considering the engineers who are below 5 years. Then I can categorize people between 5 to 15 years, then between 15 to 25 years, and the category of engineers who are about 25 years. This is the first category of civil engineers we do have. The next thing that I can categorize the civil engineers is based on their nature of work. What do I mean by the nature of work is that whether the engineer is working in an office, or whether the engineer is working in field, or whether the engineer is working in an educational institutions like the school, colleges, or whatever it is. And last but not the least is an engineer who is working in the research organization. The next category that I can think of is an engineer working in the size of an organization. Whether the engineer is working in a small organization, whether he's working in a medium-sized organization or a large organization. So if I have to stop at this stage and tell, the role of engineers who is working in a small organization is definitely not the same as an engineer working in a medium-sized organization. For example, I can definitely take the permutation and combination of all these three categories of engineers, and probably I can get nearly about 15 to 20 different kinds of engineers. For example, I can think about an engineer who is having an experience of less than 5 years, who is working in the field, and who is having who is working in a medium-sized organization, is definitely different from an engineer who is having an experience between 15 to 25 years, and who is working in an office, and who is working in a large size organization. So the role or the responsibility of this engineer is definitely different from the first one, and the responsibility and the role of the second one is different. So now let me talk about the next kind of category of engineers that we do have, is based on the sector they are working, whether they are working in the building sector, or whether they are working on the industrial sector, whether they are working in the transportation sector, which means the highways, roads, bridges, metros, etc. Or we do have people today with civil engineers working in software also, because unless we have qualified civil engineer working in the software industry, it is not really possible for us to have a good software for our designs or detailing or whatever it is, whatnot. Probably whatever you think of is not possible. The next category of civil engineers which I can think of is, depending upon the branch of engineer, For example, we have in civil engineering, we have different branches of like the structures, the transportation, geotechnical, environmental, hydraulics, etc. So definitely, when I take these 5 categories of engineering field, I have, when I take the permutation and combination, we have various kinds of engineers available, and we cannot, what I can say is categorize and say that yes, this is what is your role when you are at lockdown. No, we have to identify the responsibility of each and every individual. He has to have he has got his own responsibilities, and he has got his own role to play in the society, so that he has to think about his own what I can say priorities, and he has to take it up during the lockdown. So in my course of presentation, I will just briefly talk about what different categories of people can do when they are at home, or probably when they are locked down. The last but not the least category of civil engineering engineers that I think of is the role that they play. What do I mean by the role that they play is whether they are the owners of the organization, or whether they are an employee of the organization, or whether he is a freelancer. So definitely the role played by an owner is not the same as the role played by an employee. Again, if I take the combination of all these things, I mean, you can just imagine how many different kinds of engineers we have, and how do we accommodate, and what should be the roles that they have to play when they are under lockdown. Now, after having said that and understanding about the different kinds of engineers we do have, let me talk about a little bit about the immediate challenges of working from home. The first thing is it really possible? Well, to answer this question, I can say that partly it is possible and partly it is impossible. For example, the construction activities that has to happen. You cannot sit at home and then think that the construction will happen at site far away. It is not possible. But we had to find out the means, or we had to find out some strategy where we can maintain the social distancing, where we can have only limited number of people working at site, where they can strictly follow all kinds of social distancing and the other rules and regulations that the government is imposing, and make sure that the work is not disturbed or the quality is not disturbed. So let us see what are the futures that come up in my course of discussion. The second immediate challenge that I can think of is we are not accustomed, especially the civil engineers. We are not accustomed to working at home because we are always under the impression that we have to be at the office, we have to have a huge table, we have to have a larger space for us to spread out the drawing sheet, we have to have extra space to look at various drawings, various specifications, various codes, etc. So we are, first of all, we are not at all accustomed to working from home. But the days are there in future that we may have to slowly start what I can say is try to do whatever is possible to be done at home. We have to do it. We have no other choice. If this kind of a disease is not giving a break, or if the disease is not giving any what I can say, if the disease is not ending, then we have no choice. We have to start thinking various means of how to start working from home. The next immediate challenge that I can think about is the communication. It is really tough. For example, if I'm at office, if I'm in a design office, I can really tell what X is doing, what Y is doing, and immediately we can see what we are doing and discuss across the table and finish it. But if let us say X is working from one place and Y is working from one place, and if he has to discuss something about a single common drawing, let us say if A is referring to version R1 and let us say B, who is discussing with him, he has not clearly communicated which version of drawing he is referring, and he is referring to some other version other than what this guy is referring, then the whole discussion what we are doing sitting over different places is a total disaster. So this is one of the important thing that I think it's the biggest challenge. We have to be very proper when we are communicating between the two people, when whatever they are discussing, whether it is discussing on a drawing, whether they are discussing on the construction, whether they are discussing on the materials, etc., whatever it is. The next important challenge, which I think is the availability of computers and printers at home. It may be easily said and done that we cannot take things for granted that everybody will be having the computers or printers at their home, because even though you have a computer at home, it may not support the required software, or it may not be able to support the required items that has to run the desired program on the computer that is required to run what you did in the office. This is really a bigger challenge. The other bigger challenge is the software. Software being so expensive these days, it is not possible, or we cannot expect everyone to have the sophisticated software that an office has on his home. And it is not practical, and it is not possible because of the restrictions. It is not possible for one to physically carry the office system to home and start working, because there are some of the softwares that has been put only onto the software to their local servers, and only limited number of people can access those software. It is really difficult, and I'm not saying that all these challenges are impossible to solve, and I'm not telling that we do not have solution for all these things. Definitely the solution is there, but what I'm trying to tell you is some of the immediate challenges that we can look when we are working from home. Definitely everything has a solution. We can, even if what I can say, you do not have the software, we can definitely make sure that people can work on a remotely by hooking through internet from home to the office, and he can work. Of course, there are some solutions to it, but what I'm trying to say is the challenges that we do have as on today. The next important challenge is the documents, like the specifications or codes or standards. Let us say a person is working on some international codes, and the office does not have sufficient number of copies. The hard copy is not available so easily. Let's say a person is working on an American code, and let us say we have 5 people who need that code at a time, and we have only 2 copies. If it was in an office, it would have been easy for people to refer the codes and do it. But when people are working at different places, the sharing the documents or sharing the standards is a bit tough. But again, I'm not saying that we do not have the solution for this. There is a solution, but at the moment, it's really a challenge of how to find a solution for all of these things. The next point that I feel is the biggest challenge is the coordination. It is really difficult when a project which has 8 to 10 members involved. The coordination is really difficult when people are staying in different parts. Of course, again, we do have a lot of video conferencing, web conferencing, etc. We do have these days where we can coordinate, but it is not as easy as what you can do when you are sitting across the table. The next challenge that I see is the supervision, monitoring, and mentoring. Whatever said and done, the youngsters do need some kind of supervision. We need to have some kind of monitoring of monitor what they are doing, and again we need to mentor them, to guide them what we need, what they have to do, what they are not supposed to do, what is the basis of the design, etc. So there are so many things that a junior will definitely require from a senior. So when people are working in different locations or different geographical locations, this I feel is really difficult. The next thing that I think is really complicated is the non-disclosure agreement or the non-disclosure documents. Let us say in a company like X is doing some work for a Y company. The Y company definitely will take a non-disclosure agreement saying that the documents will not be spared to some other party, the documents will not go out of our office, etc. But when the people are working from two different places, protecting this document or drawing is really tough. I cannot keep the document in my office and I can ask my engineer to work from home without sharing the document. But when I give that document, I'm not really sure what is the status of the document, whether there will be any misuse of the documents or it is held safely, etc. I do not really know. But that's really a big challenge which we as civil engineers have to think about. The next is the resource management. Of course, this is coming only for the management level people, how to manage the resources, how to manage the manpower, how to manage the inventory of materials that is available at site, etc. This is really a challenge when you are doing work from home. Again, dealing with the subordinates and seniors. Of course, this is not that major issue, but still, we really don't know. Small issues can be blown up to a bigger problem in the later date. So, because whatever the senior is telling to the junior, he may not be able to understand, and he may be doing something else. But when he reports back, the senior may say that this is what not I expected you to do, etc., etc. We really don't know. I mean, even though this is not a major issue, but definitely it is an issue. The next important point, which I think is the immediate challenge, is the quality control. It is really difficult to make sure the quality that we produce is in acceptable standards. It has to satisfy all the things that we have been doing when we are doing at office. It has to be really good, but we do not know how the quality will be, and I also really do not know how effective will be the output. Maybe whatever one is able to deliver the product in one day, maybe they may take 2 days or they may take 1.5 days, etc. We really do not know. So this is again a bigger challenge, and how effectively we can get the output is really, really important at this point of time. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about the various activities that youngsters, or what I can say, fresh engineers who are having an experience of about 5 to 10 years, or I guess within 5 years, can look up when they are under lockdown time. I mean, let me make it very clear that whatever I am talking about may not be applicable for all categories of engineers, which I have talked about earlier. It might be applicable for one category of engineer, but it may not be applicable for other category of engineer. However, there is nothing what I can say that one category of engineer should not learn or think about working on different category of an engineer. So let me just quickly run through some of the points that I think that they can do when they are in lockdown time. First and foremost thing is, try to do all the routine works that you have been doing or one has been doing. Of course, this may not be possible for all categories of engineers. Like, for example, if a person is a field working in a field who is just involved in testing every day the materials, I mean, I cannot expect him to sit at home and test the material that is coming at site. That is practically impossible. But this is definitely, but a person who is working on office, a design office, can really do it. I mean, I don't find any reason why he should not, if he has a basic like computers or the design guides or the textbooks or whatever it is. I do not really find any reason why he should not keep doing his routine works. Okay, that is one thing that everybody can attempt to. The Next important activity, which I think is the youngsters should read more of technical books and journals. What I have been observing of late is that most of the engineers who come to join my organization or who come for work, I have noticed that they are not at all up to the mark of working in an office. They are, what I can say is, have studied engineering only from the perspective of clearing their exam. They are not really bothered about what would be their fate when they come out as an engineers. So I think these youngsters have to take an opportunity of this lockdown period, read as much as possible. Maybe now, since they are exposed to the actual working condition, they know what they need to study, what they are lagging, what they can read to improve their knowledge. I think this is what is really important. This is the first of the fundamental thing that I say for all the young engineers to do it. The next thing that what I can say, advise, or what I request the engineers, young engineers, to do is to learn as much as possible the new softwares. That means I'm not saying new means the software that has come new to the market. What I'm trying to say, new software is a person who does not know anything about the software which is already in the market. It is new to him. So, for example, a person do not know anything about Rivet. It's a golden opportunity for him to learn Rivet. And I know that most of the software companies, they give 30-day trial or 60-day trial. You can talk to the companies, you can download the software, and of course these days we have got a lot of YouTube tutorials where you can go to YouTube, you can learn the software. I mean, this is really a golden opportunity. I feel that the youngsters should do it. This otherwise we will be. I mean, I don't want to say that you are losing an opportunity, but what I can say is we don't want to miss a golden opportunity when we are staying at home. Definitely, we can do this. The next thing which I suggest the youngsters is to attend online seminars and courses. There are numerous courses come up with by so many agencies. You can take up, register yourself, and take the online classes or online courses or seminars. This is really an important thing which I advise the youngsters to do is interact with the different departments and try to develop new skill. Like, for example, let me say an engineer who is working only at site, he can definitely execute the job by looking at the drawings. He may not be good in understanding how that drawing was generated. For example, let me tell you that he is designing a beam, and the beam has 3 bars at the bottom and 2 bars at the top, and he is not aware about why 3 bars has been given at the bottom and only 2 bars has been given at the top, even though he had the details when during his engineering classes. He may not have been doing that. So this is a golden opportunity for him to call up his counterpart who is a design engineer who has done that, to understand how that has been designed, why it has been designed, what was the complexities that was involved during the design. This is really a golden opportunity to exchange the skill. The same will happen with the design engineer also. He can talk to the construction guy and say, if I give you this kind of detail, is it possible for you to provide at site? Do you have any complications in providing this at site or not? Definitely, it is a great opportunity for the youngsters to just talk to one another and develop new skills. The next thing is, I feel is they can improve their knowledge by studying things that has already been complete, from studying thinks of a completed project. Let us say in future you do some project which is similar to that. It will be easy for him to refer back to the old projects and do it. This is the time he can look back to the old projects and learn more stuff. Last but not the least is he can start thinking something innovative. I don't want to say that people at that age are innovative, but you can think more when your mind is fresh, free of what I can say complications. It is the right time that you can start thinking something really new. You can really start achieving something what has not been done so far. That's what I think. So having said that about some of the activities that a junior level engineer or an youngster can do, I would like to talk something about some of the activities that a mid-level engineers can do when he is at home. The first and foremost thing is there is all that activities that I told for junior engineer also can be done. I mean, there is nothing holding him from learning new software, or there is nothing holding him from learning new skills, or there is nothing holding him from what I can say is interacting with a different set of people and other things. Definitely, it is a advantage for him to do it. The next important thing that I feel is they have to start looking out for the locally available resources, locally available vendors, and locally available subcontractors, because we really do not know how is the future going to be. Whether we already know that a lot of migrant laborers have returned back to their hometown. We have got a lot of restrictions on the transport. We have got a lot of restrictions in the production of in different factories. So having said that, it is the right time that the mid-level engineers start looking for locally available resources and vendors, or even the subcontractors. Maybe it is materials or man, etc. The next point that I can think about is the interdepartmental discussion. How to handle the unskilled laborers, how to deal when we are having limited labor. These are some of the points that you can sit at your home or sit remotely and discuss with the different kind of people. Maybe we can do some sort of brainstorming to chart out various points, and then we can arrive at some common solutions, and we can come out with different kinds of solutions, saying that yes, this is possible, this is not possible. I mean, what I'm trying to we should be sensible enough to list out what is really important and what is not really important, and what can be handled and what cannot be handled, and arrive at some solution which is suitable for both the design team, the construction team, the project management team, etc. The next important point which I feel is you have to develop means of obtaining quicker solution. The reason why I stress this is because the order of the day is to get everything quickly. It is the people are no more interested in test matches, even though if even though the quality of the cricket is good in test match, people are not really interested in test match. They really want to go to one-day match. But the days have become so what I can say demanding that even people are not interested in even in one-day match. They want 2020 cricket. So even the same thing, even the construction field is not something different. Every customer or every owner expects that the product is delivered as quick as possible. So they'll be very happy if you can give it to him ahead of the schedule. So this is the right time that people can start thinking how to deliver things quickly, how to make things work quickly. Maybe it is in a design stage or maybe in the execution stage, whether it is in the what I can say intermediate phase, whatever it is, we have to find the means of shortening the what I can say process time. The next important thing is, of course, this can happen within the organizations where a senior can give the training to juniors depending upon his level of expertise and depending upon the nature of office. For example, if it is a design office, definitely a senior can give a training about how to generate the drawings or how to do the design or how to get an output, how to work on a spreadsheet, how to work on the AutoCAD, etc. Whatever it is, I mean, definitely they can give some online training. And probably this is definitely an interesting platform when the different discipline, let us say, for example, the site engineer belonging to the same office can interact with this kind of training session and he can improve his skill. The next important thing, what I feel a mid-level engineer can definitely do is develop new spreadsheets or develop new mobile applications or develop new software programs where it will be useful for their own work in day-to-day activities. Of course, the mobile application and spreadsheets is really an important tool that they can develop depending upon their what I can say comfort or depending upon their requirement. Of course, I'm not saying we do not have any spreadsheets so far. We do have probably over the course of time. What I think is the software or the spreadsheet that we were using may not be suited for this work, or it may not be suited for the work that we do the next. So this is the right time. I think they can start developing the spreadsheet or mobile application, etc. Last but not the least is when you sit at home, you can just think back about your previous projects. What was the common issues that I had, whether it a site or office, and try to devise different means of rectifying it. Definitely, let us say, for example, to just give an instance, let's say, for example, a design office. A design office keeps continuously giving 28 diameter of reinforcement bar, but they have not rectified that may not be available at site quite commonly as what we get 25 diameter bar or 20 diameter bar. So it is the right time that they identify, yes, look, we don't have to use any more 28 diameter bar. Let's stop using 28 diameter bar. Let's use only 20 or 25. Or send go directly to 32. So this, or I mean, I'm not saying that people don't identify these things, but I'm just giving an example to find out what is the common issues that has been happening over a period of time, to sit down, understand what it is, and try to get out of that issues. Now let me talk a little bit about the activities that an higher level engineers can perform about. Of course, the first one, whatever the junior and mid-level engineers have been performing, you can do it. The second thing is, which is really important, which I think is to have online discussions with the customers or vendors, contractors, consultants, and whatever you are doing when you are sitting at office, you can do at home by just having a online discussion. In fact, most of the time you can even have the interactive discussions between all the members, whether it is customer to owner, owner to contractor, contractor, customer, PMC, all the people together. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Any online discussion can happen. The next point is to think about making how to cut the cost. What are the various steps of cutting the cost? Then think about revising and updating the budget because of unforeseen COVID that has come. Definitely there will be some impact on the budget. So I think when people are sitting at home, this is the right time they think about updating your budget, revising the budget, whether in terms of financial planning, or maybe even you can budget what I can say is the manpower and other things. The next point that I think a high-level engineer or a high-level guy has to do about is conduct the online trainings or seminar like what a mid-level engineer did for his juniors. Devise innovative methods of working. One has to take the advantage of his vast experience and try to make the works innovative. What can be done to make the things simpler? What can be done to reduce the cost? What can be done to save the manpower? These are really important. So this is the right time that people can sit back, think peacefully, and devise methods. Update the training manuals or create a training manual. Of course, I know that most of the big organizations do have training manuals and other things, and which may not have been updated or may not have been paid attention to because of a lot of work pressure or so many works that has been happening. Maybe I think this is the time they can take some advantage to update their training manuals. And of course, they can also create or update their procedures. You can create and update their standards. They can create or update their documents. They can create or update their website, and they can also yes, this is a really important thing. But now they have to start looking for digital marketing. I mean, as the movement is restricted, the transport is restricted, people should think about marketing themselves digitally. No, I'm not saying that this is not at all what I can say in practice. Definitely some organizations and some companies are already doing this digital marketing. But the order of the day, I mean, as we look at future, if this lockdown is continued or the transport is restricted, I think digital marketing has to be implemented by all the organizations. Digital marketing is the only platform where you can market yourself. Try to computerize and digitize all possible works, be it the design, be it surveying, be it quantity survey, whatever it is. Try to computerize and digitize it as much as possible. I mean, this may look strange to some of the design firms regarding why I'm talking about this, but I have seen a lot of construction companies being not really good in computers or not really good in digitizing. Even today, I have seen people when they submit the bills in a handwritten format. They, if one mistake is done, they put the what I can say, strike it with eraser, and then they write it on something and they submit the bill or a bill and other things. It may look strange for the bigger organizations, but the smaller organization and medium-sized organization are not at all what I can say digitized or computerized. Especially the what I can say is a medium to small construction firms. If you ask an engineer to just type one letter, he says, "Sir, agala sir, nange computer ko namgo aage baradilla sir. I don't want to do it." So it is only the what I can say is the mindset that people have to get out of it and try to digitize and computerize. This is an opportunity for them to do it. The last but not the least is a high-level engineer should be prepared to embrace the new ideas or new ways of working. I'm going to tell you that another 2 or 3 years, the whole system of working might change if this lockdown continues or if this pandemic is not relaxed, I am sure that the traditional way of working will go off. We have to, there is no other way. We have to embrace the new ideas. We have no other way. We have to start working in an innovative way. I will probably after at the end of my discussions, I will just what I can say briefly tell you what may be different innovative ways of working, which may be applicable for civil engineers, which will be applicable for civil engineers, which the engineers have to be equipped with. So I think this is the right time people, when they are at the home, can think about different innovative ways, and we have to be equipped ourselves to tackle those innovative ways in future. Now let me talk a little bit about the construction challenges, what I feel will be post-lockdown that an engineer should think right now before he goes to the site or before he venture to the construction field. The first and the foremost fear that I have is the social distancing. Whatever is said and done, sometimes it is really difficult for a site supervisor or a site engineer to make the labor team maintain the social distancing. Even though I know that it is definitely possible in some of the activities it is really difficult to maintain the social distancing, but it is the time that the engineer should think how to make an effective the social distancing possible. And I'm sure it is possible. People can think in different ways. People have to devise their own methods to make sure that the social distancing is done at site. This is really very, very important. What I feel in, let us say, probably pre-COVID time, if any stranger or means, let us say, only one set of subcontractors was working in the field, other set of subcontractors were coming and working, people were not really bothered about whether he is from X place or Y place or Z place. People used to work. Now, let us say, for example, people working in Karnataka, if they say that I am come from Maharashtra where we had a lot of COVID, then think about the mental fear that the person will have when he has to work with the stranger. And I'm not saying that people who come from the remote places will be affected or infected. No, I'm not saying about that. But whatever said and done, people will have a little bit of discomfort or some kind of fear when they are working with new people. This is really important how we can tackle this. The other important thing that what we have or the engineers should think about is how to do the rapid test for the workers or the vendors or suppliers. We really don't know who will be the workers, whether he is a carrier of the disease or he is safe from the disease. I mean, we have to have rapid testing things, no other choice. People should have infrared, what I can say, thermometers, or people should have every kind of precautionary measures to make sure that the people are who come to that site are safe, and they are what I can say are not spreading the disease to others. So it is the role of the engineer to make sure that rapid tests are being done. It is again really important how to make every person sanitize. All the materials that is arriving at site has to be sanitized. So this is really a big challenge. I mean, what material you have to sanitize, what should not be sanitized is really a big question mark, which I think the site engineers have to go through the documents, look out various websites, understand what is the carrier of virus, which material carries, which material is not carrier, and then he has to take appropriate action. I think this is the right time that people who are sitting at home can look at different what I can say, website to understand whether a material is a carrier or a non-carrier. Excuse me. The next important challenge that I find is with the people, majority of the people having migrated, labor force have been migrated to their hometowns. It is really a big challenge for the site engineers to deal with the limited number of labor force and unskilled labor. They have no choice. They have to, what I can say is, devise new techniques where they can extract the work from the limited people and extract the work from unskilled labor. They have to find the means. It is the right time. What you have to do is think about how to get the work, what 5 people were doing earlier, how to get the work done from 3 people or 2 people is what has to be thought about at this point of time. The next important thing is the raw materials. It may be really difficult because of the lockdown of the factories and the lockdown of the various brick manufacturing kilns or the cement manufacturing industries. The availability of raw material will be really tough till the factories are opened and they start producing the materials and supplied. And again, we notice that only 33% of the people are allowed to work in the industry and they'll be allowed to work in the shift. It is not really sure at this point of time whether the materials that we get is at the same what I can say standards and the same quantity that we were getting pre-COVID time. Definitely the supply will be hit. So how to cope up with the shortage of raw materials is really a big challenge. So it has to be planned properly. So probably people can sit back and plan the work ahead. What is the material required after 1 month? What is the material required for 2 months? What is the material required in the next 1 week? So, and then they can place the order accordingly depending upon the availability of the material. I think this is really an important thing that a site engineer or a construction team should think about. The other important thing which I think is really important is, as I told in my previous slides, that we had to hunt for locally available resources and other things. Now, this is where it comes to picture, where we have to effectively make use of locally available things. We might, let us say, for example, I will be needing some tile, earthen tile for putting to the roof of my house. Earlier, I might not have thought about the locally available material, but I might have gone for some particular brand. But now, because of the site, the factory being not running for n number of days, the production has definitely been hampered, and the total number of products that he is supplying is disturbed. So it is the right time that you can think about what are the locally available materials, which is, if not to the same quality and standards of a standard company, definitely there is no harm in looking out for the locally available things and use it, provided we are not, what I can say is, compromising on the quality that we had assured. Definitely there is a cost escalation because of all the things that has happened over the past few weeks. Where there is no control on the cost has gone. Definitely whatever the loss that the company has made in the last 1.5 months, they will try to get that money by what I can say is increasing their price. So people have to be really careful to deal with this cost escalation. Maybe it is for the labor cost or material cost or the transportation cost, whatever it is. Definitely there will be some cost escalation. People have to be ready and try to think how to tackle this cost escalation problem. The last point that I want to the transport restriction between the intercity, the inter-district, and the state. Because of this, definitely there is a hard hitting on the engineering industry. So all these are the challenges that people can sit back and think and do it. Now I'll move on to my last topic, which the engineers have to think about the innovative things that we may anticipate post lockdown. Some of the important innovative techniques that people have to be prepared for is the precasting and pre-engineering. This is one of the techniques where people can be reduced at actual site and we can have more people working in a factory. So that means what I mean to say is work more at factory and only do erection at site. So of course this has been done in most of the Western countries where we have shortage of labor. Probably even India has to start practicing this. That way what happens is we can have less number of people at site and we can have more people working under a controlled environment in the factory, thereby reducing the spread of diseases. So the engineers, whether he's a design engineer or a field engineer, has to be ready for this. A design team has to be ready for designing all pre-engineered stuff or precast stuff, and site engineer has to be ready for working at factory and getting erected at site. So this is the order of the day that I feel should go in the coming days. In the rapid and quick construction, devise the methods we have to have. We will definitely, there will be innovative techniques that will come up for rapid and quick constructions. People have to shift towards mobile applications. No other go. I mean, this is the way that I look forward to make the things paperless and to make it more what I can say organized. There will be definitely be a shift towards mobile applications. So it is the right time that the people are educated more and more about the mobile applications and about digital working. Definitely this will be getting shifted towards digitization. Maybe who knows down the line. So, I mean, I know some of the my customers in UK and US do not use anymore the drawing sheets. Everything is digitized. They have the screens displayed at the side. Any drawing that is required, it will be opened on the screen and it will be seen and done. So the more and more of digitization is happening and less of paperwork has been done these days. And I'm sure in near future, in a couple of years to come, digitization will be the order of civil engineering, and people have to get accustomed to digitization. Modular construction, to make what I can say less people working at site and more people working at factory. Modular construction is one of the best techniques that we can think about. Of course, there are this may not be practically possible for a tailor-made project, but definitely this is an option when we are having apartments or row housing or villa sort of things. Definitely this is an option where people can think of, and people will definitely start adopting to modular construction. Container homes, which is again a kind of quick and rapid method of construction, where probably this will be the future, where people may take the available containers, just convert it into homes and start living in it, because there is a necessity of what I can say a quick and rapid home requirement, or quick and rapid hospital requirement, or quick and rapid what I can say quarantine center required. So probably this may be the order of the future. People may think about introducing a lot of touch-free items like doors, tabs, switches, etc., so that you don't have to go on sanitizing your hand every now and then. Probably this is near future, what I can expect. Digital monitoring. Of course, this is already there in Western countries. In most of my sites where I have seen, digital monitoring is already there, where people will monitor the construction sitting at their office by means of cameras, where they are installed the CCTVs at so many numerous places wherever they want, and they are monitoring. This is already there in some of the Western countries, which I think will definitely come to India shortly. The next important thing is controlling the construction activities remotely. As I told you in the previous, what I can say, point, this is the same thing, nothing new about it. The next important thing is use of drones to capture the data remotely. Because we know what is the capability of drones, and then we can people who are not accessible to the remote side, or people who are not capable of going to X and Y place and get the data, we can definitely use this technique, use the drones to capture the data. And I mean, when once the data is captured, it is up to the engineer to do whatever he wants, whether he wants to do the survey with that, or whether he wants to do the, what I can say, topographic mapping, etc. Whatever it is, it's up to him, depending upon whatever his way, whatever he is up to. The next important innovative technique that I can think of is the 3D printing. 3D printing will definitely come, whether we like it or not, in another couple of years. Maybe I can definitely say in 5 or 6 years down the line, 3D printing will definitely come to India, and engineers have to be equipped with that right now. If we are not equipped with that 3D printing, I mean, I think we will be spending unwanted money for labor. We will be spending unwanted money for unwanted activities. 3D printing is the future. Robotic measurements and works. So I'm sure people will start developing robots where it can do the measurements automatically, and people will develop the robots to do some work. And I have seen that in so many videos. I have already seen that there are so many robots that they can do plastering. There are so many robots that can do the masonry work, because it's a routine kind of jobs. Something which is a routine kind of jobs, definitely robots are a solution for the near future. So it is really important for the civil engineers to understand the basis of all these things and to be prepared, and not be surprised when these things happens in future. Artificial intelligence, definitely yes. Artificial intelligence is definitely something which we have to look forward in the coming days. Artificial intelligence is right now in the computer segment, but I'm not finding it, what I can say, I'm not surprised that this will also come into civil engineering in future. Already the research, a lot of research has happening in the artificial intelligence in civil engineering, but to practice, it is not that much right now, but I'm not surprised it will come quickly. Digital twins, again, this is something which I feel will be the order of tomorrow, where you are creating a digital exact digital copy of a structure. You are studying the behavior. That's what digital twins means. So this is really going to be the order of tomorrow in civil engineering. Then we have to be really ready for the super fast common computer techniques, which will do A to Z everything. We have to be ready. The engineers have to be ready for this. And the last but not the least is we have to be ready for the advanced construction technology, like where we have less men and more machines. This will be the order of innovation. The innovation should go in this order. So what has to be done? survival of the quickest. The engineer who is quick enough to learn all these things, he will survive. If he is not quick enough to learn all these things, I mean, I don't think it is easy for his survival. So I'm just putting the law about Darwin's law, like survival of the fittest. I'm just putting in a little bit different. Survival of the quickest. A person who can learn quickly and who can adopt to the innovations quickly, he can survive. Otherwise, it is really tough in the future. Well, I will thank my session by thanking and saluting to all the COVID warriors, whether it is the medical staff, the policemen, the municipal workers, or the essential suppliers, whether it is the state and the central government, the defense, etc., who all were involved in safeguarding our lives from protecting from the deadly diseases. My sincere thanks and a big salute to them for saving all our lives. Thank you.
Excellent one, sir.
Thank you.
Very good evening, and that's my now wonderful time. I should say thank you, Sudarshan sir. Sir, there are many questions. Okay, but I'm not. I'm just scrolling down. So there's
Take only a few questions, important questions. You can download and you can share with him, sir, so that he can send an email answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Maybe
I'm unable to see any questions as of now. I'm not able to see any questions on the screen. Maybe if you can read out any few questions, I'll try to answer them. And if I'm unable to answer the question, I will definitely mail you back.
Sir, now the biggest challenge is the network issue is there. One thing, let me read out fastly a question because the scroll is running up. Here's a question by Mr. Ravindra Deshpande, engineer Ravindra Deshpande. Sir, which site material is going to sanitize in civil? It's very difficult, it says. He says.
Yeah, that is what I told. It's really a bigger challenge. We really don't know whether a material, whether X material is a carrier of the disease or the Y material is a carrier of the disease. This will involve a thorough investigation to look at whether a carrier or not. It is especially in our field, it is really tough. So let us say, for instance, the tile is a carrier of the disease. It is not practical to sanitize each and every tile when it comes to site. But if it is a carrier, we have no other choice. It has to be sanitized. So it is really important to identify the material which is the carrier and which is not the carrier, and then take it up further.
The entire site fumigation is one of the solution. What they are saying, sir. So entire site every day, if they sanitize at a regular interval, I think most of the things can be solved by this.
Well, yes, I'm not denying on that. Definitely, it is a solution. Only thing is, we have to make sure what I can say, a skilled person who is knowledgeable about sanitizing has to carry out the activities.
Yes.
Sir, here is one more important question which I request for you to answer. This is from Defense Department. Okay, Engineer Nitesh Kant Das. He is asking, sir, suggest how to non-disclosure documents to be used in such scenario. He is a defense engineer. Yeah.
Yeah. See, what I have been doing for this particular problem is I am keeping the document in the office, and it is put it on a server, and a person who is working on home will be accessible to that system. He can only view the document. He can neither print it, he cannot what I can say, download it or whatever it is. The restriction will be put on his system, and the restriction is put it on to my system. That way the security of the document is not tampered.
Yeah. Same question, sir. One more question by engineer Madhwalappa. Okay, sanitization of construction material would be really challenge. How to answer it, sir? Same question. I
Uh,
already you answered, I hope.
uh,
Take
Uh,
new one.
and here our president, former president Ashok Baswa, sir, ACC India president. So he asked a question, sir. What about the cost of construction? Whether it is that I mean, it's going to raise after post lockdown or going to come down?
No, I
Absolutely.
feel, as I have already told you, it is going to be escalated. And my guess is it is going to be escalated because of unforeseen, what I can say, the pricings that will happen because of the transportation restriction. The transport companies will jack up the cost of transport. The people who material suppliers will jack up the price. So I feel there may be some small, substantial increase in the cost. That is my guess. I may be wrong, but I guess cost.
So there are a lot of appreciation, sir. So I'll read out and I'll be sharing this data also. So there is a person, I mean, an engineer, Mr. Ramchandra Mathare. Okay, he says very really nice information from engineer Sudarshan. So he says thanks a lot for sharing this
So welcome.
platform. So now,
It's my
now I
pleasure.
would like to, yeah. Before my concluding, sir, I just would like to add few two words, sir. This is a topic which has been not spoken, not told, or not heard, or not even thought in an engineer fraternity. Okay, because even our civil engineer father, Mr. M. Vishweshwaraya, also he might have not got this privilege to speak, or he might have not thought on this lockdown days that we as engineer
During his time, there
fraternity
was no
would
lockdown.
face. Yeah.
Uh,
So
It's
it's a very, it's a very challenging thing. We have there are a lot of things are there, like you have used it's a golden opportunity and new techniques, challenges. So there are many things you have try to bring to our uh, on platform, sir. So now I take this and a real thank you from my bottom heart that you have taken this topic. And sir, unmute your video, sir. Unmute your video, sir. I would like to see you, Sudarshan,
no,
sir.
it's not
So
muted.
yeah,
It's not
Right.
muted.
and sir, now I want to just add one word. So in the construction management, there is a new chapter is going to introduce. That is all about role of an engineer in a lockdown. That is a sure which I'm expressing from my end, sir. So now I request if President SM Surur sir. Hello, sir. Surur sir. I think so. You are raising a hand. Some you want to ask some question? If your network is okay. Still some issue with him. Sir, okay. Chairman, our ACC chairman, Suresh Kirusar, sir. So network, I think so. There's a network challenge. Anyway, sir, now way to More sir, sir. Please add few words, and likely after that, even I request Deshmukh sir also to add few words.
No, sir, this is a wonderful topic, and we never thought of so many things a civil engineer can do sitting in home. Earlier, I was thinking what is going to be there in the content, but so many vast things are there. It is really I thank sir for enlightening on these issues. Okay, if
My
time
pleasure,
permits,
sir. My
please.
pleasure.
Yeah, we will do in a bigger hall, and face to face we will discuss on this. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your speech, and
It's my
uh,
pleasure, sir. It's my pleasure to talk whatever I know about or whatever I thought will be ideal for this seminar.
thank you, sir. Thank you. Sachin, you can, Umesh can speak.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think,
yeah.
the thing is,
So our DGM
I
marketing
would
sir
like
would
to,
like to
I would
speak few
like to,
words.
yeah, I would like to say that this was our first experience as far as the webinar is concerned for MAHA Cement. Earlier, we used to have this kind of meetings on in a closed hall, with people interacting. As you rightly said, there are challenges in this particular epidemic or pandemic, what we call now, that we have to come out of limitations and see how we can conduct ourselves to the usual kind of meetings we used to do earlier. So thanks for the lovely session. I mean, you have given us a lot of inputs on how to build ourselves in terms of enhancing our skills by way of training programs, updating our own procedures, and also need to be more creative. A need also to look at the cost part of it. Also a need for people to update themselves. A change towards more of digital kind of business or way of doing things, innovating ourselves, how to do things. Also, you have discussed the challenges people are facing during the lockdown and what should be done post-lockdown, and the innovative techniques post-lockdown, what people needs to look at how to conduct themselves after the lockdown. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My pleasure, sir.
Sachin sir, Shirur sir is where? If we can speak.
Sir, yeah, Shiru sir, I think so. He's trying out to speak repeatedly. So there's a disconnection going on, sir. His data is getting disconnected. Only for 1 second it is getting on and then getting still. Sir, Chairman, Suresh sir, are you able to hear? Chairman sir.
Anybody from ACC can also speak.
So, sir, that's what, sir. The issue is there. I think so it is getting disconnected from both the sides. There's a small network issue. Shiru sir. Sir, I'm just unmuting them. It is getting muted. I'll try to connect in other. Sir, I'll try to connect with an audio. 1 second. Hello, Shiru sir. You are not able to open audio here. I'm just getting some speak. Connection mistake, sir. You speak on here, sir. Sir, ನಾನು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನೀವು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಅಥವಾ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಯುವರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಸರ್. ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Lot of echo is there, right?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದೂರ ಇದೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ದೂರ ಇಡು.
ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್, ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಸರ್. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Sheru sir. You can type your this thing regards also. I will share it. Thank you, sir. Not a problem. So a few more people are raising a questions. Anyway, I'll answer. We'll send an detailed report also. They're asking PPT, sir.
Sir, I think because of this audio problem or whatever it is, any questions the attendees have, just send it either to you or to me, and we will definitely answer their questions.
Yeah, sir. That's great, sir. Hope everybody is able to. Yeah.
Yeah, Sachin,
So I
people
have
can
I have
send
set of questions.
you can
Yeah,
send
yeah.
in the questions. You can send in the questions
Sure,
to
sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
It is very
Yeah,
unfortunate
yeah.
that Shiru sir and our Kishore sir has not able to speak. But
All right.
I thank them for giving an opportunity to be associated with the ACC and both organization. And in next future, I think you should tackle this digital issue also, Sachin.
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Now
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
take
Thank
one
you
second. I'll
all.
take. Sir, Suresh sir is coming online. 1 second. Last a minute. Chairman. Sir. ಹಾ ಸರ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ಅದು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಹಲೋ ಸರ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್. ಹಲೋ ಸರ್ ವೆಬ್ನರ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ದು. ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ.
Green
ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ಹಲೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್.
ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ.
ಹಲೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. 1 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ವಿಡಿಯೋನು ಆನ್ ಇದೆ, ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಬೇಕಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ನನಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತದೆ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಸರ್, is not able to get things, so or is getting something.
Or possibly what we can
Anyway,
do,
thanks a
Sachin.
lot.
No, Sachin,
So
what we can do.
I'm signing off, sir, and special thanks to Engineer Sudarshan sir and all association. Yeah, Suresh sir has come on. Suresh sir, matadi sir. Our chairman Suresh sir is online. Please matadi sir.
ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ?
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
ಸುದರ್ಶನ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು. 1 ತಾಸಿಗಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ 2 ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಹಾ ಸಿಮೆಂಟಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೌರ್ಯ ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ದೇಶಮುಖರ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಚಿನ್ ಅವರಾಗ್ಲಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಇದನ್ನ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರೆಂದು ಅಭಿನಂದಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.
ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
ಎಸಿಸಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಟೀಮ್ ಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಮಹಾ ಸಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಸದಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಹಾ ಸರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಸುದರ್ಶನ್ sir. So I'm concluding my talk before signing off. So
I should thank both MAHA CEMENT and ACCE for giving me an opportunity to talk. I mean, otherwise this would not have been possible. Grateful to you, all of you. Thank you very much. And I'm also thankful
sir. Yeah.
Who were patient enough to listen to my talk for nearly an hour. I want to thank even the attendees for being patient enough and listening to my talk.
Sir, for information, attendance is full, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Attendance is full. Yeah, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sign off. Sign off.
Thank you,
I'm
thank you,
signing
one
off
and all.
from MAHA Cement. Thank you, and one and all. Yeah.
Have a nice day. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night.
Good night.